Have you ever wondered what happens when two people no longer seek to fill a void in each other, flee from themselves, and unexpectedly meet on the path of awakening? When two awakened souls encounter one another, what occurs is nothing like what familiar romantic tales usually promise. It is not love at first sight, nor the ecstasy of two egos clinging to each other to ward off loneliness. That encounter takes place in silence, yet it reverberates far into the depths of the psyche. It is as if the unconscious of each recognizes something familiar that had been forgotten long ago. This is the foundation of the individuation process that Jung always emphasized. They do not seek each other out of lack, but out of the freedom of a psyche that is already whole, not because of need, but because of presence. So, if it is neither fear nor deficiency, what truly happens in the overlapping space of two awakened souls? Today's video is not about ideal love or perfect harmony. It is about liberation. And when you understand what lies hidden deep within loneliness, you will realize that nothing is truly missing in you. Stay until the end, because only by looking straight at the truth about yourself can you fully experience the secret of the encounter between two awakened souls. Number 1. Ordinary relationships. When the ego seeks someone to patch its missing parts. Most relationships in this world begin from a very fragile point. Not from understanding, not from awakening, but from a feeling of lack, an unnamed emptiness somewhere inside that makes us believe that if someone comes along and fills exactly that spot, we will finally feel complete. This is the familiar starting point of nearly all love stories. Yet, it is also where Jung points out that the ego begins to construct illusions of salvation. People do not usually love each other for their essence. They love each other through the deficiencies they have not yet dared to face. SYC Soul. If you're receiving value, please take a second to subscribe. It helps the channel grow and keeps these deep Jung-based explorations alive. You have probably witnessed this in everyday life. Someone who has just gone through a breakup immediately looks for a new person to forget the pain temporarily. Someone who lacked recognition from their family falls intensely in love with the first person who makes them feel seen. Someone afraid of abandonment clings tightly to their partner, even when deep down they know they are not truly compatible. Such relationships function like two distorted puzzle pieces forced together. Not because they fit, but because they are needed. Jung called this projection onto the object. We project our missing parts onto the other, imagining they are the answer to an emptiness we ourselves do not even understand. And so two egos meet. Two egos, each carrying its own holes, each thirsting to be filled. They love like two starving people who have found a table of food. They are hasty, impatient, and clinging. Yet the nature of hunger is never to feel satisfied. When you love someone because you are lonely, the love will vanish the moment you stop feeling lonely. When you love someone because you are afraid to be alone, you will live your entire life negotiating your fears instead of sharing your essence. This is why so many relationships collapse the moment the initial excitement fades. It is not because people stop loving each other. It is because they were never truly loving each other in the first place. They were only loving the illusion of completion. Jung says, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. But when two people meet from a place of emptiness, the transformation that occurs is not creation, but confusion. Instead of awakening, they amplify each other's wounds. Number 2. The awakened relationship. When the self meets the self, not the shadow. Now let us look at what happens in the second type of encounter. The one that only occurs when at least one of the two has already begun the inner work, the courageous work of turning inward instead of outward, of meeting their own shadow, their fears, their wounds, their desires, and the forgotten parts of their own essence. This person does not seek love as medicine. They seek love as expression. They do not fall in love because they are missing something. They fall in love because something inside them has already become whole. For such a person, love is not a refuge. Love is a mirror. And so, when two awakened souls meet, the connection is not born from fear, but from recognition. Not from hunger, but from presence. They do not cling, they witness. They do not demand, they unfold. They do not try to use one another as emotional crutches. Instead, they stand firmly on their own ground, meeting in the middle as two complete worlds, not two incomplete halves seeking completion. Jung often spoke of this type of encounter as a psychic event, not a romantic one. The kind where the unconscious whispers, "Ah, I remember you," not because the other person resembles a past lover, but because they resemble a part of yourself that you once lost. Encountering such a person feels like encountering a different version of your own soul. Not because they complete you, but because they reflect you. They do not fill your emptiness. They illuminate it. They do not silence your fears. They help you understand them. They do not save you. They inspire you to save yourself. And this is where it gets very interesting. Because when two awakened souls meet, something happens that ordinary relationships never experience. There's no fear of loss. No fear of abandonment. No fear of change. There's no fear of loss. No fear of abandonment. No fear of change. This is because an awakened soul does not enter a relationship to gain something, but to share something. They do not fear losing the other person because they know that nothing essential can ever be taken from them. The love they give does not come from scarcity. It comes from overflow. Number 3, what truly happens when two awakened souls meet. Now we come to the heart of today's exploration. What actually happens when two beings who have done the inner work, who have confronted their shadows, who have learned to stand alone without collapsing, and who have become rooted within themselves, encounter one another. First, there is serenity. Not excitement, not obsession, not anxiety. Serenity. The encounter feels familiar, like finding a door you somehow always knew existed, but had forgotten how to open. The connection is calm but profound. There is no rush. No "what are we" conversation. No game of pulling and pushing. Everything unfolds naturally without force. Second, there is honesty. Two awakened souls do not hide their wounds. They do not pretend to be perfect. They do not censor themselves to appear more lovable. Instead, they speak with a transparency that is impossible in ego-based relationships. They express without fear of judgment because they are no longer judging themselves. Third, there is spaciousness. Awakened souls do not cling. They give each other space to grow, to breathe, to be. They do not confuse closeness with possession. They do not panic when the other person needs solitude. They understand that love deepens not through constant proximity, but through the freedom to expand. Fourth, there is a shared evolution. Two awakened souls trigger each other's growth, but not through conflict born of wounds. Instead, their presence naturally invites the other to rise. They challenge each other gently, lovingly, consciously. They expand one another's awareness, not through chaos, but through clarity. Fifth, there is recognition beyond the physical. They do not merely see each other's face. They see each other's essence. Their meeting feels like a continuation, not a beginning. A remembering, not a discovery. It is not the fire of passion that defines the connection, but the quiet flame of truth. Sixth, there's no dependency. This is crucial. Two awakened souls do not need each other to feel whole. They are already whole. They do not enter the relationship as beggars, but as givers. They are not looking for a home in the other person. They bring their own home with them. Seventh, there's profound safety. A safety that does not come from control, predictability, or guarantees, but from presence. From being with someone who is deeply rooted in themselves, who does not abandon themselves, and therefore does not abandon others. Eighth, there is something Jung described as shared individuation. This is when two people do not grow into each other. They grow beside each other. This is when two people do not grow into each other. They grow beside each other. Their paths do not merge. Their paths run parallel. Not because they are afraid of intimacy, but because they understand that true intimacy requires two distinct, awakened selves walking consciously toward their own becoming. And now perhaps you can feel the difference. Ordinary relationships seek fusion. Awakened relationships seek alignment. Ordinary relationships seek certainty. Awakened relationships seek truth. Ordinary relationships cling to the known. Awakened relationships embrace the unfolding. Number 4, the paradox of awakened love. There is a paradox so subtle that most people overlook it entirely. Two awakened souls may feel a deep, powerful connection, but they are not intoxicated by it. They are not swept away by emotion in a way that blinds them. Instead, they are deeply aware of it, almost too aware. The more awakened you are, the more sacred love becomes. And the more sacred it becomes, the more gently you hold it. The encounter feels like holding a bird in your hands, not to keep it, but to honor it. Jung has a beautiful idea about this. When the inner situation is not made conscious, it happens outside as fate. This means that unhealed people fall in love accidentally. Awakened people fall in love consciously. This leads to the paradox. Two awakened souls may choose each other, but they do not need to. They may walk together, but they do not depend on it. They may stay, but they are not afraid to part, because their connection is rooted not in fear, but in freedom. Number 5, why the encounter feels spiritual, not romantic. For awakened souls, love is not merely an emotion. It is an expansion of awareness, a widening of the psyche, a bridge between two consciousnesses that allows both to grow. This is why the encounter feels spiritual, because it awakens something dormant within. Not desire, but remembrance, not longing, but recognition. Not excitement, but alignment. It feels like meeting someone who speaks the silent language you have always known, but rarely heard. Someone whose presence feels like an echo of your own soul. Number 6, awakened love does not promise permanence. This is where many people feel uncomfortable. Two awakened souls may share a connection of unimaginable depth, yet there is no guarantee it will last forever. And that is precisely what makes it beautiful. Awakened souls do not imprison love inside expectations. They let it breathe. They let it shift. They let it transform. If the connection leads them toward each other, they walk together. If the connection leads them apart, they honor that too. Awakened love is not about forever. It is about truth. And truth does not always look like permanence. Sometimes truth looks like growth. Sometimes truth looks like letting go. And sometimes truth looks like returning in a deeper, more conscious way. From here, the journey of two awakened souls becomes less about destination and more about presence. It becomes a path where both continue to walk in their own truth while allowing the connection to unfold with its natural rhythm. No rushing, no forcing, no clinging. Only a quiet, steady honoring of what is real between them. The meeting of two awakened souls is not a fairy tale. It is not a perfect romance. It is a mirror revealing who you are, who you have been, and who you are becoming. And if life allows them to continue walking together, they do so with awareness. If life asks them to part, they do so with grace. Because the bond between awakened souls does not depend on permanence. It depends on truth. And truth, once touched, is never lost. This is the quiet beauty of such an encounter. Two beings who have already met themselves, finally meeting each other. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to breathe, reflect, and stay connected with this journey. Subscribe to SYC Soul so you never lose your way on the path of self-awakening and deeper consciousness. Your presence here matters, and I would be honored to walk the next steps with you.